Fridaysews, my name's Sarah. Thanks for joining me today. It'll probably be quite a short one today because, as some of you who've watched before will know, there is building work happening next door and they have been drilling since like 8 o'clock this morning, and it's been on and off very loud. So if there are weird cuts in this video or if the video is very short, that's probably why. But I have actually sewn some stuff this week, so I wanted to update you. So first up, you will see on the mannequin behind me a work in progress. This is the Elodie wrap dress that I had previously mentioned making. So I'm planning on eventually using this glittery fabric in the background to make a concert dress, and I'm considering using the Elodie wrap pattern. The proof will be in the pudding for me. As I said, I've heard some interesting things about the sizing. I do think so I received some feedback from people saying they didn't have an issue with the sizing, but most of the people who did are people who are like in like my size brackets, the extended size range. So, and quite a lot of companies, they use a different block for the sort of standard size range and the extended one. So I just wonder if there's something in the block. It does feel a bit, obviously it's not finished. It does feel tighter in the bust than I think the finished garment measurements suggested. So we'll see when it's all together, because with this one, I just think you can't, until the construction's finished, you can't get a full feel for exactly how it's going to sit. You will see, so here's the bodice. I've got the exterior waistband on. I haven't, it'll be faced on the inside. I haven't attached that yet. This is about how low the neckline will be. So if I pull this, you will see how it should sit. I think sort of like that, which looks all right. When I put it on, it does feel a bit snug around the bust. You have these pleats. I don't know if you can see. There are sort of three. I'm showing you this very badly. There are three little pleats that you have on either side, which bring the waist in. And I think there may be, I don't know, I think there's maybe a bit of leeway to decrease the width of those, which I think would then sort out some of the problems with it feeling tight. But the construction is pleasant. You have to be careful, I think, with like making sure that you measure things properly and that you do your stay stitching and stuff like that, because there are a lot of, so for example, when the skirt attaches to the bodice, you've already hemmed it down the front on either side and it's not gathered into the bodice, so it needs to fit exactly. So there are just a few things like that where I think you have to be really, really precise. I don't know if there are other things you could do in terms of the order of construction to make that easier. I'm not sure, but yeah, so I'm hoping to finish this. I did all of this and the skirt pieces are sewn up and the ties and everything are sewn up. So I've sort of got all of the separate bits, but I've just got to finish the construction. So I did all of these bits in one day. And then I'm hoping over the weekend to finish that off. So I should be able to show you the finished garment by next week. Did I mention this is the Elodie closet core Elodie dress? I can't remember. Oh, now the dog's barking. 1 second. It's a mad house here today. It's crazy. So apologies for all of the disruption. So that's one thing I've been sewing. And the other thing I've been sewing is this backpack. Isn't it cute? I haven't actually put anything in it yet. I've just been admiring it. So this is the Noodlehead range backpack. I've used, so pretty much everything apart from this musical fabric came from Jenny Stitches. She has a really handy part on her website, which is just for bag making. So if you click on, I think it's haberdashery, and then go to bag making, it has all of the other bits and bobs you'd need. So that included, so this black denim, which I've used here, and I've used for these ties as well, and the handle here, the lining, just a black lining, the zip, which is one of the jean zips because I wanted a metal one, and the webbing that I've used for the straps, and all of the metal work as well has all come from Jenny Stitches. And oh, there's a thread there. And this cool musical fabric I mentioned last week is a cotton canvas. It was from Selvage and Bolts, and it is a Dolce & Gabbana dead stock. And I'd actually seen it on there and I thought, oh, that's such a, like, perfect print, but at that point I hadn't made bags, and I was thinking like, oh, I don't know what I'll really do with the canvas. But when I suddenly decided that bag making was my vibe, I went back on and I purchased it, and I have enough left that I'm going to, I think, maybe make my mum a tote bag with the remaining fabric. I don't think I have enough to make a backpack, but I think the tote would be cute, and it's something she'd use more. My mum, I've never really seen her much with backpacks. So yeah, so what can I tell you about this? Now, again, I'm not going to go crazy, because the reason I ended up making this was after making, for the Jenny Stitches blog, the Redwood tote, which is another Noodlehead pattern. And I had been a bit apprehensive about bags, and then I really enjoyed making it. So I'm not going to go too into detail, because that blog, I thought it was going to come out this week, but now I think it'll come out in the next couple of days. But that will go into detail about the process. But you can tell I really enjoyed it, because I went straight back on and purchased another one of their patterns. So yeah, so this is the backpack. It has this zip pocket fastening in here. And then the main fastening, instead of having a zip at the top, you have this little, these like tabs that loop, and then the bag opens up like this. It's big size. I think I could fit a lot in there. There's an interior pocket as well. The only thing I would change, apart from this bit of thread that I just cannot seem to get rid of, is the D-rings that I purchased are too wide. So I bought them because I sort of hadn't registered that for this I wouldn't be using the webbing for the closure. I bought the D-rings to fit the width of the webbing, which I think is 38 millimeters. And they're really too wide, but I just thought, does it bother me that much? No. But in future, I would get more narrow D-rings for that part. All of the other metalwork can fit with the webbing, and that's fine. In the patterns, they don't allow for webbing, the use of webbing for a lot of it. So they'll say you need a bit more fabric than you do, because the idea is that you'd cut this out of, I think it was even the lining fabric, or it might have been the denim, but they basically factor that into your fabric requirements. So just keep that in mind if you want to make a bag that, yeah, that if you're going to use webbing, which I like because it's really sturdy. It means you don't have to turn any massive tubes out. And it works really well. I've used on both of my bags, I've used webbing. I'm just wondering if there are any other details to show you on this. So at the back, so you've got two backpack straps. You have this strip of fabric here, which is, sorry, I thought you can hear that banging. I thought it was the door. It is the builders next door. So you have this strip of fabric here that is sort of strengthening for where the straps are held in, and also where this tab thing is held in. At the bottom, you have a contrast panel. You obviously could do that in the same fabric if you wanted. The only thing I feel like this bag is missing, because I want to use this bag for work, but it's not got a reinforced base. So the tote bag has, you put this extra sturdy interfacing in the base of the bag, so it's really like strong at the bottom. But this bag doesn't have that. It just has normal weight interfacing. And I carry a lot of really heavy books around, so I think if I did it again, I would probably add just to this bottom part like a little bit of really heavyweight interfacing. But otherwise, I'm really pleased with it. I think it looks really cute. The bag in the front has this like little pleat detail, which I think is really neat. And no, I just really enjoyed sewing it, to be honest. I think I would highly, highly recommend, if you want to get into bag making, Noodlehead patterns, really, really easy to follow. There's just the only thing that's a bit long with making bags is you need a lot in terms of fabric and notions, so it just takes a little bit to get everything together, and also you have to cut a lot of pieces out, but they're only quite small. But as I said, if you go on the bag making bit on Jenny Stitches, she has so far everything that I've needed to make my two bags has been in that section in terms of like the notions and stuff. So I would say Noodlehead patterns and the Jenny Stitches bag making section, really good place to start. As I said, I really enjoyed it, so I'm definitely going to make more bags. And all I would change for this is I'd reinforce the base. I might even see if I can add in a panel at the bottom, like a rectangle of the denim fabric with the reinforced stuff on. I might just see if I can stitch that into the bottom. But yeah, so I've done quite a bit of sewing this week, actually. I'm feeling quite proud of myself. I'm hoping to get this stuff finished off at the weekend. There are a few other bits and bobs, other plans coming up, so which I've mentioned to you before, but I've got more of a priority list now. I've got all these weddings, and as I was saying, I've got 3 weddings in one weekend. Trying to sort out outfits. Don't necessarily want everything to be brand new, and they're quite different vibes each event. So there's a registry office wedding, and then there's an evening do for another wedding, and then there's sort of like a big festival party vibe wedding on the Sunday for like my best friend. And so what I'm thinking is for the evening do on the Friday, I'm thinking of wearing this dress, the black Lyra dress in organza, but I was wearing just like a little ready to wear sort of skimpy slip dress underneath, and it just was it was way too short. It kept riding up. I just wouldn't feel comfortable wearing that. So I have ordered some Duchess satin in black, and I'm going to use the cashmere Upton pattern to make a sort of little mini dress that I can wear underneath that, and then potentially underneath other things. So I'm not going to connect the two dresses. I'm just going to make it as a base layer for to wear other things on top. So that's going to be a priority. For one of the wedding events, I'm thinking I might wear this, depending on how this turns out, if I like the fit. I also have that strawberry linen from Fabric Godmother, so I'm sort of thinking maybe for the Sunday I might make the Mabel dress in the strawberry linen, or I've also got the blue Duchess satin from Minerva, which I might use to make that full skirt and the little crop top. So I'll probably maybe wear one of those to each of the other events. So yeah, so I've got those plans and a few other bits and bobs. But as I said, we're sort of packing up the house at the moment. It looks like we won't be moving out until the start of July, maybe, because we're waiting for building regulations. So we've got a bit of time, but we've got a lot of stuff to sort through. And the weekends are now being taken over a bit by sorting the house out, going through things, recycling, charity shop, throwing things away, blah, 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 all of that stuff. So yeah, so we'll see. But my priority is getting those outfits sorted for wedding things. I now have a finalised plan for my flower girls, and I've started looking at fabric samples for those. Obviously I ordered a load of samples from Minerva, and the one I like is obviously the most expensive one. So, which is typical. And the yardage I need is quite a lot. So I'm thinking I might have to and it's to go under another fabric. So I'm thinking, get a grip, like pick something that's a bit cheaper. But yeah, so there's loads happening. I'm feeling much more positive and in control with work stuff and everything. So thank you for sticking with me through that stress. And yeah, to be honest, I'm just excited I've got all of these sort of sewing plans in my head, and I just want to get them going now. So finishing this is a priority. And then, because then I'll know more about what I'm going to do with that fabric in the back, if I need to use a different pattern or adjust this one, or if it's perfect as is. And then I'm going to get going on some of my wedding projects. Oh, and the other thing that I'm going to make up is just some black joggers, the True Bias Hudson pants. I just want to make a black pair because I keep making like boldly patterned pairs. And then some days I'm like, I just feel like I'm leaving the house in my pajamas. Whereas a black pair, a little bit more versatile. Anyway, as always, I'm just chattering away with you all. Thanks so much for your comments after the last video and your advice on what to do with the sewing room. I'm sort of quite excited to plan it, but sometimes it's difficult to sort of focus the mind on exactly what you want. But yeah, I really appreciated the feedback. Would love to hear what you're sewing up at the moment, what your plans are for the next few weeks. And yeah, any patterns that have caught your eye, anything like that, please feel free to let me know below. Thanks as always for tuning in. And if you enjoy my videos and you subscribe already, thanks. If you enjoy my videos and you don't subscribe, please consider subscribing and also liking and commenting. I read every comment and reply to every comment, and I really appreciate them. So yeah, have a great weekend, guys. See you next time. Bye.